In many areas in digital transformation and innovation, Asia seems light years ahead of what we see taking place in Europe. Having said that, there are many practical applications and lessons that we can benefit already from today. We're therefore very honored that Winnie Wong will share some of the secrets of Asian insurance innovation in the following keynote speech. Winnie is the CEO and Executive Director of Asia Insurance Company and of Evo Insurance Company. She's also awarded the #1 Asia's Most Inspiring Executives of the Asia Corporate Excellence and Sustainability Awards of 2022 and the #1 of Elite Women 2021 by Insurance Business Asia. Needless to say, we're excited to have such a recognized industry expert here on stage. Please, a big hand for Winnie Wong.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming back so early in the morning, especially after a most delightful and festive dinner party and Oktoberfest last night. May I have a quick show of hands so that I can understand a bit more about you too? How many of you have been to Hong Kong? Oh, that's encouraging. But when was your last visit to Hong Kong? 3 years ago? Yep, 2 years ago? Oh, this year. Okay, obviously a lot of you haven't been back to Hong Kong, at least in the past few years. Let me first of all show you a short video about the insurtech and fintech landscape in Hong Kong. Especially in the past few years, we have a lot of exciting development on insurtech and fintech. So let me share with you a video first. As an international financial center, the diverse market and funding opportunities in Hong Kong have attracted a wide range of fintech companies. So let me share with you why Hong Kong is an ideal place for fintech companies and insurtech companies in Hong Kong. In terms of the universe on fintech, we have a thriving fintech segment, including insurtech, of course, in Hong Kong. As an international financial center, the diverse market attracted a lot of funding opportunities, and therefore we have over 600 fintech companies in Hong Kong right now. And of course, because of the high number of financial institutions in Hong Kong, most fintech companies, about 66% of them focus on B2B business. And as finance is a highly regulated industry, so as expected, compliance and RegTech account for a high number of fintech companies in Hong Kong, followed by wealth tech, due to the fact that Hong Kong is a very prominent wealth management center. But insurtech and digital assets each accounts for about 12%, showing the growth of interest as well as demand in the past few years during the pandemic, with heightened awareness of the need of insurance protection, as well as accelerated digital transformation in response to the permanent change of our customers' buying behavior. On the market size of the fintech segment, there are a large number of financial institutions offering attractive market size on B2B fintech solution providers in particular. There's a high concentration of wealth in Hong Kong, making Hong Kong a very attractive place for B2C as well as B2B wealth tech companies. On asset and wealth management, there are 36 trillion AUM in Hong Kong, with over 1,800 firms on wealth tech, on wealth management and asset management right now. On banking, the total asset amounts to $24 trillion total asset, with over 160 licensed banks and 8 virtual banks in Hong Kong. Imagine it's a very small city, but there are so many banks as well as asset management companies in Hong Kong. It shows the market potential as well as the opportunities there. On digital payment, the projected total transaction volume is $262 billion, with over 100 payment companies in Hong Kong. Last night, some of you asked me about e-wallet, e-payment. We do have a lot of e-payment companies in Hong Kong, e-wallets in Hong Kong as well. On insurance, the total gross premium is about $580 billion. Again, we have over 160 insurance companies in Hong Kong and 4 virtual insurers in Hong Kong. And I am fortunate enough to be able to run 2 insurance companies at the same time right now in Hong Kong. One is an incumbent insurer, as a composite insurer, one of the leading insurance companies in Hong Kong called Asia Insurance, while at the same time I'm also running a startup which is a first virtual general insurance company in Hong Kong called Avo, with the avocado logo. So it's very exciting to be able to meet all of you and share with you later on my journey to run both companies, one incumbent and one startup insurtech company at the same time. And on trading, of course, the total trade is also over $11 trillion. With over 340,000 SMEs in Hong Kong. Actually, we do have a lot of SMEs in Hong Kong market. And FinTech Proof of Concept Subsidy Scheme, which is also very important for startups. To accelerate FinTech adoption, the funding of proof of concept is absolutely crucial for a lot of our startups. And the government in Hong Kong received over 160 applications, and they have approved almost 100 projects on POCs, funding for POCs, which is very encouraging. And it's even more encouraging to know that almost 20% of the projects are on InsurTech. And it shows the growth opportunities and potential there. And there are also numerous matching programs to fast-track FinTech adoption. There are public ones, including the ones offered by the Hong Kong Science and Technology Park Accelerator Program. And there are also a Cyberport Venture Capital Scheme, and Invest Hong Kong Global Fast Track Program, and their flagship event in Hong Kong called Hong Kong FinTech Week. And there are private ones, including the Innovation Labs, Jumpstarter Program, and Entrepreneurs Fund, and Innovation Champion Programs and ESG-related FinTech accelerators. This one is highly relevant to a lot of the startups here, especially when you are already started in Europe or in other countries around the world. This global fast-track program brings together the world's most innovative fintech companies that already have commercial customers in your home market and beyond to showcase the business solutions and connect with regional corporate and investors. There are business matching programs, pitching competitions, mentoring sessions, and most important of all, we have regulator consultation sessions to be facilitated for these startups from overseas. It helps the business to become more visible, more viable, and more scalable in Hong Kong, in Asia, as well as beyond. Fundraising is absolutely crucial for fintech companies at different stages. Hong Kong has the second largest fund pool in Asia Pacific, immediately following the mainland China, which accounts for about 53% of the total accumulated private fund pool. But for Hong Kong market alone, we contributed 14%, amounting to about $170 billion in terms of private funds. So it's definitely a very convenient funding and market in Hong Kong from private funds, family offices, as well as IPO activities. On IPO fundraising alone, Hong Kong is ranked #1 over the past 12 years, in 7 of the past 12 years, in terms of total IPO fund raised. And that's why we have nurtured over 10 unicorns in the past few years. And they are all focusing on fintech as well as insurtech. There are many generous funding schemes relevant to fintech at different stages. Of course, at the beginning stage, they will need to incur a lot of fees, including registration fees, annual return fees, etc. All these can be waived at the beginning stage. And at the R&D and growth stage, there are also different funding programs, including the Enterprise Support Scheme up to 10 million Hong Kong dollars, partnership research programs up to 50% of the project cost. And there are also other support schemes, tax reduction schemes, as well as R&D cash rebate schemes. And the most important thing is the IP will still be with the fintech company startup. They will not take away your IP, and Hong Kong is renowned to be an IP intellectual property hub with your IP properly registered and protected in Hong Kong. So this is important, but they will not take away your IP. You still own your IP. This is absolutely crucial for your further fundraising and development. And at the hiring stage, it's always a challenge because of the shortage of talent and the funding required at the initial stage. So there are also funding schemes for hiring. For example, we have technology talent admission scheme for supporting the hiring of R&D staff. We have quality migrant admission scheme, and also research talent hub scheme with subsidies up to $32,000 per month per talent, per employee. And also we have recently got the FinTech anti-epidemic scheme for talent development up to $10,000 per month for up to 12 months. So I think I met quite a number of startups and FinTech companies, insurtech companies from Hong Kong in the past 2 days, and a lot of them told me they have benefited from these funding schemes, and it's highly useful because a lot of the funding for hiring of R&Ds are up to 36 months. So probably they are still enjoying the funding from the government on hiring. And on business development, we have technology voucher scheme up to $600,000. And on the fundraising stage, we have Innovation and Technology Venture Fund up to $2 billion, and SME Financing Guarantee Scheme up to 100% of loan guarantee. And of course, we hope these companies can expand overseas, and therefore there are overseas expansion funding schemes. There's a dedicated fund on branding, upgrading, and domestic sales up to $6 million, and SME Export Marketing Fund up to $800,000. So all these funding schemes are very generous, and they are targeted at helping fintech and insurtech companies to scale up. A lot of you are from Europe, so I think it would be helpful for me to introduce a bit more about the Hong Kong insurance market and ecosystem. Hong Kong is a leading insurance center in Asia, with some distinctive strengths that I can share with you. First of all, we have very sound legal system and good corporate governance. The government, as well as the regulator in Hong Kong, are trying to strike a fine balance between corporate governance, observing international standards and best practices, while also avoiding over-regulation. I think this is absolutely important. And as an insurance practitioner myself, running 2 insurance companies, one is an incumbent, one is a startup, of course, we have to have a lot of discussions, a lot of communication with the regulator. And I have to say they are very pro-business, open-minded, and transparent. In the past few years, they have launched some sandbox arrangements so that we can quickly start our innovative ideas when the regulatory regime has not been ready yet. While at the same time, they also have launched a fast-track application of virtual insurance license, and that's why we applied for the virtual insurance license and became the first virtual general insurance company in Hong Kong. So all these are very helpful initiatives. I think the facts speak for itself. Hong Kong topped in the sub-ranking business legislation in the IMD World Competitive Ranking this year. And the risk-based capital regime is another example of a balanced regulatory regime. I know you have to comply with the Solvency II in Hong Kong, in your countries, while in Hong Kong we have a risk-based capital regime. And they try to strike a balance on it too by, of course, on the one hand, adhering to the international principles laid down by the IAIS, International Association of Insurance Supervisors, while at the same time they also take into account a lot of local feedback and local considerations. We are also strategically located with the ease of flying to other countries in the Asia-Pacific region within a few hours. And of course, the proximity to China and the Greater Bay Area that I will elaborate a bit more on would be super helpful for commercialization opportunities. And tax, we work really hard to ask for tax incentives to support our insurance industry. And are very happy that the government listened to our recommendations and they further reduced the profit tax. Normally, profit tax is 16.5% in Hong Kong, and for our industry, they reduced it to 8.25. They reduced it by 50%. So it's really helpful in supporting the development of the insurance industry in Hong Kong. It's only 8.25% profit tax, and we don't have protectionism. Is definitely level playing field for all the local players as well as foreign companies. And we are a big supporter of diversity, legitimacy of LGBT, etc. And last night, a lot of you were talking about inflation. We are very lucky to have a very low inflation rate. Yeah, I saw some of you, I think that's something that a lot of countries are suffering. But in Hong Kong, we're lucky to have only 1.9% inflation rate with plenty of supply on daily necessities and utilities, etc. So we're quite lucky to have that in Hong Kong. And that's why some of the reinsurers ask me, oh, it's a hard market. Due to inflation. I said for Hong Kong market, we don't feel it. We have a very low inflation rate, and a lot of the classes of insurance are becoming profitable again because of the support of the regulator in coming up with some innovative arrangements. So I think that's really helpful. And later on, I will talk about the growth opportunities. Recently, the Hong Kong Federation of Insurers have also conducted a survey, and both life and non-life insurers are going to double their resources and budget on fintech in the coming 1 to 3 years. And of course, with key reasons to improve customer experience, reduce operational costs, streamlining the business processes, and also better understanding their customers. And again, in terms of business processes, they do plan to adopt fintech on various different areas, ranging from marketing to claims handling and fraud detection. And for Hong Kong Federation of Insurers, what role that we have been playing? We represent 138 insurance companies in Hong Kong with over 90% gross written premium in the entire Hong Kong market. We act as an InsurTech enabler by having InsurTech task force as well as facilitating the development of InsurTech by matching them with the insurance companies in Hong Kong. And we are a voice of the insurance industry by having a lot of liaison meetings, frequent liaison meetings with regulator as well as various different government organizations. And we have also launched 2 award-winning InsurTech platforms. One is the motor insurance authentication platform. It's the first ever industry-wide blockchain application on motor insurance in Asia, and we have won some awards in the region. And it's highly scalable and versatile for multiple usages. In fact, the supplier that we use is from Europe. Yeah, we use an InsurTech company that some of you mentioned yesterday. So we use some European companies to help us to launch this. And the second one is Insurance Fraud Prevention Claims Database. It's an AI-driven database to detect insurance fraud. And again, we use another supplier from the Asia-Pacific region. There are, of course, ample opportunities in Hong Kong. One is the Belt and Road Initiative, involving a lot of expansion and direct investments of the mainland companies overseas to other Southeast Asian countries and even to Europe. And the second one is also highly relevant. It's a Greater Bay Area development. I'm not sure whether you are familiar with the Greater Bay Area. Just some figures. For Greater Bay Area, it includes Hong Kong, Macau, 2 special administrative regions, plus 9 cities in southern China. It's called the Greater Bay Area. To put it in perspective, in terms of population, there are over 86 million population in this Greater Bay Area. It's bigger than the UK, Italy, or South Africa. In terms of GDP, it's 1.93 trillion US dollars. It's bigger than Australia and Spain. And land area is 56,000 kilometers. It's a test market for products as well as services, and it's a very fast-growing market for fintech companies to scale their solutions. Of course, it's also a gateway for mainland and fintech companies to go global, as well as global companies entering the mainland market. So just to conclude, with all these funding, sponsorship, and support, and also with the tremendous and significant scale up and commercialization opportunities in the Greater Bay Area and in China, I think Hong Kong is definitely an ideal place of InsurTech companies. So thank you very much, and I'm sure my colleagues from Invest Hong Kong and the Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office, as well as some of the startups, InsurTech startups that I met who started in Hong Kong and now expanding to Europe, would be happy to share their experience with you during the conference. So thank you very much again. And thank you again for coming back so early. Thank you.